Hey guys, I'm Rita, co-creator of DBZ Light of Hope, and while I did many different jobs on the project, one of my favorite things was making the costumes. So today I'm going to show you guys how you can make your own version of Gohan's gi. Alright guys, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Alright guys, so first of all, I'm going to list out all of the items you're going to need, and then I'll walk you through step by step, and then also in the description below, I'll post the exact links to the items that we use, and I'll be showing you how to swap out the kanji so you can have both Gohan and Goku's gi. Alright, let's do it. Alright guys, here's what you're going to need. A tub for dyeing the costume in. You can also use your bathtub, but I highly recommend using a separate tub because the dye will stain your bathtub. I know this from personal experience. 2 gis. You can choose whichever gi you like. We used this gi on Amazon for the top orange gi, and this gi from Key International for the blue under gi. Just make sure to check the weight of the fabric for measuring how much dye and salt you're going to need. You'll need your orange dye. We used a combination of the goldfish orange as well as a terracotta brown. We used more of the brown because we wanted a more earthy color, but you guys can choose exactly which color combination that you like. You'll need your blue dye and brown dye for the pants, or if you want to have orange pants, order more orange dye. Salt. Measure this out depending on the weight of your fabric and also how much dye that you're going to use. A pair of old black jeans or black jean material. Black paint and a paintbrush for the kanji. Measuring tape. Scissors. Black tea bags. A pot for boiling water. Shin Guards. Monk shoes. A stir stick or a yardstick. Ace bandages for wrist wraps, and fabric velcro for securing the kanjis. We'll start by making a tea bath to dull the bright white fabric for the kanji material and for the Shin Guards. Put a pot of water and tea bags on to boil. While the water boils, cut off the sleeves of the gi that will be the orange gi. You will cut off both sleeves at the seam. Make sure you cut the fabric before dyeing because you'll need this fabric to make the kanji patch. By using both of the sleeves, you'll have enough material to make Gohan's kanji as well as all 3 of Goku's, including his front patches. Next, we'll put the sleeves into the tea bath to dull the bright whiteness. This makes costumes look a lot more natural and real. Let it simmer for about 25 minutes, remove from the tea bath and set out to dry. Next, discard the padding from the Shin Guards. Make a discreet cut in the back and then pull them out, then put the Shin Guards into the tea bath. Let them simmer for about 25 minutes and set them out to dry. Next, we'll cut off any tags or logos from the gis. Using scissors or any sharp tool, carefully cut the threading and work your way around. You'll need to do this before dyeing. Dye your pants first so you have some practice before doing the top gis. Getting the color even can be difficult and takes practice. First, make sure you have pots of water on to boil for the dye bath. Next, double check that you have enough dye and salt based on the weight of your pants. Then measure out how much salt you'll need. Use your bottle or dye packet for the salt ratio. Next, dissolve your salt and dye in a pot of boiling water. You'll want to make sure everything is fully dissolved before adding it to the large dye bath. Begin adding your boiling water and hot water to the dye bath. Get the water as hot as possible. I used a combination of hot tap water and pots of boiling water. After the salt and dye is dissolved in one of the pots, add it to the dye bath. Finish adding hot water and make sure it is stirred. I should have added more water to my dye bath, so make sure you have enough water for the fabric to move freely. Next, add your fabric to the bath. Make sure your fabric is fully soaked with water before adding. The wet fabric will dye more evenly. Next, stir and make sure the fabric is fully submersed. Stir and rotate periodically for 6 to 8 hours. Also add pots of boiling water to keep the dye bath hot every few hours. For the blue gi, we'll repeat the same steps as we did for the pants. Put on pots of boiling water and begin measuring out your salt and dye. Be sure to fully dissolve the salt and dye packets into a pot of boiling water before adding them to the dye bath. I did not have time to wait for the pants to finish, so I used my sink. This was a bad idea because the fabric could not move freely. I highly suggest you guys use the same tub as the pants for the top gis too. Make sure your fabric is fully wet before adding it to the dye bath. Stir until fully submersed and rotate every hour or so. And don't forget, the belt and the wrist wraps go in this dye bath too. After your fabric is finished dyeing, rinse with cold water until the water runs clear. I am doing it here for the blue gi, but you'll also need to do this for your pants and the orange gi. It took about 25 minutes of rinsing before the water started to clear up. Keep rinsing until all the extra dye is out. Set items out to dry after they finish rinsing, and try to avoid direct sunlight if you can. Alright, so tub and tub proved to be the best method for dyeing, and this is what I recommend you guys do. It was a lot easier to rinse this way and to add more hot water. Make sure you fully submerge the gi and have enough water for it to move around freely. You guys should use more water than I did because mine could not move freely and it was hard to get an even dye. Add another pot of boiling water every hour or so to keep the water hot. Stir and rotate every hour when you add the hot water. And don't forget, you have an extra pair of pants. After the top gi finishes, you can add a little more dye and water to the same dye bath for a pair of orange pants. While the gis dye, make your kanji patches. You will have enough material to do Gohan's and all 3 of Goku's, including his front patches. Alright, so you should have 4 big circle patches and 4 small front patches. You can quickly iron them to get a flatter surface for painting. Before painting, cut out your black fabric for the larger circle underneath. You'll also be using the black jeans to make the strips of fabric for strings on the legs, so be frugal with the material. You'll want about an extra inch all the way around your white patch. Secure the white patch to the jeans and cut around, leaving the extra inch of space. Alright, now that the paint is dry, let's weather the edges. This will make it look more natural. You can use concrete, sandpaper, a knife with serrated edges, or all three. Fold your kanji as many times as possible and rub the edges against the concrete, sandpaper, or knife. Do this to all of your patches, including the larger black patch. Orange ghee finishes dyeing, rinse very well and set out to dry. If you're still having a lot of dye runoff, you can put them in the washing machine, but only use cold water and avoid soap. Once your orange ghee has dried, now we add the patches. For the black patch, I suggest securing with a sewing machine. I did not have one, so for $10 I took it to the dry cleaners where they do alterations and they sewed it on very well. You can sew it yourself, but if you're not experienced, just take it somewhere. If you're only doing one kanji, have them sew on your white patch as well. However, if you want to be able to swap out the kanjis, you'll be using Velcro. You still want the black patch sewed on, but you'll want to attach and secure your Velcro strips before sewing. I highly recommend sewing or super gluing the Velcro patches on once you finalize your placement. Make sure your points of contact are evenly spaced out so the patch is secure. Put Velcro strips on all of your other kanji patches so you can attach them to the black fabric. And that's it, guys. The final product should look something like this. I'll put a Discord chat link in the description below for any questions you guys have. I'd love to help you all make your own version, so be sure to check it out and feel free to ask me any questions. Also, comment below what other costume tutorials or tips you want to see. Lastly, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please consider checking out our Patreon page and consider becoming a patron. This channel is only possible with your guys' support. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. See you guys next time.